A very simple recipe, but before we start poaching our eggs, let's get started on our sauce. For the hollandaise sauce, first we need to make clarified butter. We're going to use butter, obviously. It doesn't really matter what brand you want to use. In a small pot, get water boiling and put a metal ball in it to make a double boiler and slowly melt the butter. You can also do this without the double boiler, but I don't recommend it, because when we melt butter directly on fire, we might burn it, and another way to do it is to put the butter in a bowl inside the oven and let it melt slowly. The point of doing this is to separate the proteins and the liquids from the butter. When it's completely melted, carefully pour into another container. You might want to use this spoon to fasten this process. The water is going to evaporate and the milk solids are going to sink, leaving the fat on the top. And because of this, if you're lactose intolerant, you can actually consume this butter. Leave that aside for now. What we're going to do next is a simple white wine vinegar reduction. For this we're going to need shallots, freshly crushed peppercorns, and white wine vinegar. By evaporating the water, we're concentrating the flavor, which is going to help us to make sauce with much more flavor. We're going to let it cool for a little bit. Meanwhile, we're going to get ready our mise en place for the hollandaise sauce. We're going to need lemon, cayenne pepper, the reduction we just made with our clarified butter, and yolks. We whisk the reduction and the yolks. Then we go back to the double boiler. Please remember to turn off the fire. Once the water is boiling, that's enough heat. If you're using an electric range like me, make sure you take the pot off the range. Sometimes electric stoves stay hot even after you turn them off. We're going to keep whisking until we have a creamy mix. This happens because the protein in the eggs are reacting to the heat and the acid in the vinegar. Now we're going to slowly add the clarified butter while we keep whisking. This is called an emulsion, and it happens when you mix two liquids that can mix. In this case, the fat of the butter and the vinegar, thanks to the liquefaction in the egg yolks. The rest of the ingredients. The reason why we add the lemon juice at the end is to avoid the lemon becoming bitter. And finally, with the sauce ready, we're ready to poach our eggs. Bring water to boil and then add a little bit of vinegar. Once the water gets boiling again, turn off the stove and slowly and very carefully pour the egg into the water. Keeping an eye on it. Make sure you don't leave it for more than a minute. We want to run a yolk. The reason why we add the vinegar to the water is the same reason we add the vinegar to the hollandaise. It's going to help us to coagulate the albumin in the egg whites. I know we use white vinegar for this recipe, but don't be afraid of using any other kind of vinegar for your recipe. Experimenting with different types of vinegars and brand is going to add a total different flavor to your recipe. And after all, that's what cooking is about. Our sauce is ready. We know how to poach an egg. Now is the time for the easiest part of the recipe. If you love bacon, fry it first, and then with the fat, fry the ham and toast the bread. Not really good at this, but it's time to plate. It doesn't really matter the order you want to do it. If you want to put the bacon first, then the ham, go for it. Carefully put the eggs on top of the bacon. And make sure you cover them with your nice smooth hollandaise sauce. It needs a little bit more of color, so let's add cherry tomatoes. A little bit more of bacon. More pepper. And look at that runny yolk. Hey! Thank you for watching this very first video. If you learned something new, like this video. If you want to see a recipe, let me know in the comments. Follow us on Instagram. Don't forget to clarify that subscribe button. Bye!